Okay, so Numbers 34. And then we're on to the fifth book of Moses called Deuteronomy. But anyways, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel and say to them, When you come into the land of Canaan, this is the land that shall fall to you as an inheritance, the land of Canaan to its boundaries. Your southern border shall be from the wilderness of Zin along the border of Edom. Then your southern border shall extend eastward to the end of the Salt Sea. Your border shall turn from the southern side of the ascent of Akrabim, continue to Zin, and be on the south of Kadesh Barnea. Then it shall go on to Hazar Adar, and continue to Asmon. The border shall turn from Asmon to the brook of Egypt, and it shall end at the sea. And then he goes on to explain all of the borders, right? And he says, I'm going to skip ahead because it's all numbers. It's like and maps and all that kind of stuff. And it says, Then Moses commanded the children of Israel, saying, This is the land which you shall inherit by lot, which, it's divided into lots and divided into the tribes, which the Lord has commanded to give to the 9 tribes and to the half tribe. For the tribe of the children of Reuben, and it goes on to explain all of how the land will be divided. And he says, you shall take 1 leader of every tribe to divide the land for the inheritance. So 1 leader to divide everything. And then it goes on to say the names of the men. And all the way through. And then it says, and I'm skipping ahead to 35, because that's all history about dividing up the land into lots so that everybody gets their part. And that's how it is on earth, right? We need our space. There's always this big fight over land because, seriously, what do we have? We have land and resources. And so civilized people would normally pay for land and work, but unfortunately there's so many evil people in the government and in all of the governments that we can't do it civilized anymore. There has to be war, just like it was back then. And you can't just go to work and buy what you want anymore because they're going to take every dime they can from you. It's just turning into the whole evil works of Satan, The constant round exchange of money, right? He gets it, and then he gets it, and then he gets it, and they get it. But of course, they're pulling it all from everyone who's working. And it's so crazy that they are so blind to what they do. And the Lord spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab by the Jordan across the Jericho, saying, Command the children of Israel that they might give the Levites cities to dwell in from the inheritance of their possession, and you shall also give the Levites common land around the cities. They shall have the cities to dwell in, and their common land shall be for their cattle, for their herds, and for their animals. The common land of the city which you give the Levites shall extend from the wall of the city outward 1,000 cubits all around. And so this was set aside for the Levites because they were the ones they were the ones always serving God and praying. Now among the cities which you will give to the Levites, you shall appoint 6 cities of refuge to which a manslayer may flee. And to these you shall add 42 cities. So all the cities that you give the Levites shall be 48. These you shall give with their common land. And so there was a place for a manslayer. So I'm assuming what he's talking about is like if someone had to kill someone and flee, then they had a place to flee to. Because he didn't say murderer, he said manslayer. So probably when someone has no choice, right? And then maybe their family's going to come after them. I don't know. And the cities which you shall give shall be from the possession of the children of Israel. And he said, from the larger tribe you shall give many, and from the smaller you shall give few. But each shall give some of its cities to the Levites in proportion to the inheritance that each receives. And that's the same for us. Depending upon what God blesses us with, right? We have to give our portion to help. And there's a lot of people, they give almost everything they have, whereas others don't give near enough, right? But we have to make sure it's going to people to help people. And he spoke to Moses again and said, speak to the children of Israel and say, when you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you shall appoint cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the manslayer who kills any person accidentally may flee there. So if someone kills someone accidentally, then and even way back then, things happen. They shall be cities of refuge for you from the avenger, that the manslayer may not die until he stands before the congregation in judgment. So first he has to be judged, right? But he has to have a place to go, to flee. And so he goes on to talk about that. And it says, you shall appoint 3 cities on the side of Jordan, and 3 cities you shall appoint in the land of Canaan, which will be cities of refuge. These cities shall be for refuge for the children of Israel, for a stranger and for the sojourner among them, that anyone who kills a person accidentally may flee there. But if he strikes him with an iron implement so that he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. And if he strikes him with a stone in the hand, by which one could die, and he does die, he is a murderer, and the murderer shall surely be put to death. And the avenger of blood himself shall put the murderer to death. Then, when he meets him, he shall put him to death. If he pushes him out of hatred, or while lying in wait, hurls something at him so that he dies, or in enmity he strikes him with his hand so that he dies, the one who struck him shall surely be put to death. He is a murderer. The avenger of blood shall put the murderer to death when he meets him. However, if he pushes him suddenly without enmity, or throws anything at him without lying in wait, or uses a stone by which a man could die throwing at him without seeing him so that he dies, while he was not his enemy or seeking his harm, then the congregation shall judge between the manslayer and the avenger of blood according to these judgments. So the congregation shall deliver the manslayer from the hand of the avenger of blood, and the congregation shall return him to the city of refuge where he had fled, and he shall remain there until the death of the high priest who was anointed with the holy oil. But if the manslayer at any time goes outside the limits of the city of refuge where he fled, and the avenger of blood finds him outside the limits of his city of refuge, and the avenger of the blood kills the manslayer, he shall not be guilty of blood, because he should have remained in his city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the manslayer may return to the land of his possession. And these things shall be a statute of judgment to you throughout your generations in all your dwellings. So even when they killed someone on accident, they weren't necessarily imprisoned, but they had to stay in a certain area. And he said, until the death of the high priest. It was just how it was, Whoever kills a person, the murderer shall be put to death on the testimony of the witnesses. But one witness is not sufficient testimony against a person for the death penalty. Moreover, you shall take no ransom for the life of a murderer who is guilty of death, but he shall surely be put to death. So you don't take a ransom for someone for the life of a murderer. And you shall take no ransom for him who has fled to his city of refuge, that he may return to dwell in the land before the death of the priest. So you don't say, we've got this money here, like the ransom for the death. So you shall not pollute the land where you are, for blood defiles the land, and no atonement can be made for the land for the blood that is shed on it, except by the blood of him who shed it. So he's saying the only atonement that can be made on that land where blood is shed, it can only be made by the person who shed that blood. So if a murderer killed someone, only his blood can make the atonement. Therefore do not defile the land which you inhabit, in the midst of which I dwell, for I, the Lord, dwell among the children of Israel. Now the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, and the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the family of the sons of Joseph, came near and spoke before Moses and before the leaders and chief fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, the Lord commanded my Lord Moses to give the land as an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. My Lord was commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of our brother Zelophehad to his daughters. Now, if they are married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then their inheritance will be taken from the inheritance of our father, and it will be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry. So it will be taken from the lot of our inheritance. And when the Jubilee of the children of Israel comes, then their inheritance will be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry. So their inheritance will be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. Then Moses commanded the children of Israel. It's okay. Wait, now, wait. I'm at the end of Numbers, and then next week I'll start Deuteronomy. So I'm almost finished, and I think we're going to eat lunch soon.
I'm just saying.
Then Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of the Lord, saying, what the tribe of the sons of Joseph speaks is right. This is what the Lord commands concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry whom they think best, but they may marry only within the family of their father's tribe. So the inheritance of the children of Israel shall not change hands from tribe to tribe, for every one of the children of Israel shall keep the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers, and every daughter who possesses an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be the wife of one of the family of her father's tribe, so that the children of Israel may possess the inheritance of his fathers. Thus no inheritance shall change hands from one tribe to another, but every tribe. Yes?
No, it's fine. I just want to say, are you going to post this on your YouTube channel?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Do I follow you on there?
It's a very long one. It's just a bunch of Bible lessons, and you're a little bit too young for them right now.
Oh,
but,
okay.
yeah.
I'm just asking.
Yeah. Okay.
How many followers do you have?
None, I don't think. Maybe one. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah. Just as the Lord commanded, Moses did so did the daughters of Zelophehad. For Mahlah, Tirzah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married to the sons of their father's brothers. They were married into the families of the children of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their father's family. These are the commandments and the judgments which the Lord commanded the children of Israel by the hand of Moses in the plains of Moab, by the Jordan, across from Jericho. That part was called marriage and family heirs. All right. Very good, very good. That was the end of that one. We're on to the 5th book of Moses.